All right, I want to show you something and what you make of it. Robert E. Lee, I think you know the guy on the left, and then Robert Lee, no relation to that guy on the left. The guy on the right is an ESPN sportscaster, and you've probably seen these images a lot today, and here's why. Because ESPN is removing the sportscaster from covering a University of Virginia football game this weekend, apparently just because of the name. He has no kinship with Lee, just the misfortune of having the wrong name in here, which has me worried about whether there are any Southern Confederate generals that I know of named Neil Cavuto, but that's a whole separate issue. But this comes at a time when they're removing statues left and right having anything to do with that period of time in our country, a very difficult period of time, but extending it even to wanting to remove a George Washington statue in Chicago, cutting public funds for the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. Even Christopher Columbus dragged into this, and a monument in New York City. Some say that he was going after Native Americans and should not be so honored. But on, with blowing up Stone Mountain, maybe getting rid of Mount Rushmore because a couple of the participants there owned slaves. What does Alveda King think of this? The niece of Dr. Martin Luther King and so much more, multiple best-selling author, with the president last night in Arizona. Doctor, good to have you back. What do you make of all this?
Neil, I'll be very honest with you. I'm a little bit sad, and my doctor told me to always listen to some peaceful music and sing a song or something. I'm going to have to do a lot of singing today, because to punish someone because their name may offend someone, it's just shocking, and it is going too far. Has America gone too far? Absolutely. Blowing up Mount Rushmore, blowing up Stone Mountain because of the statues there. But it almost makes me wonder, Neil, think about it. In the Bible, God said, keep yourself from idols, and the memorials in the Bible that God seems to be okay with is just a pile of rocks, you see, with no faces on it. And so people are fighting. I remember being very upset. There's a statue in Birmingham, Alabama, with my daddy, A.D. King, and two of his colleagues, Reverend Nelson and Reverend Porter. And for a long time, they just said, to the unknown leaders of the movement or something. I said, you know exactly who that is. You've got the picture of my daddy and Reverend Porter and Reverend Smith marching. And then I thought about it, and I said, my daddy wouldn't even want to have a statue named after him, so I could be upset and mad because his name is not on it. So statues and things like that can upset you, but we cannot just erase them, because if you remove our history, people will forget about it, and then we may have to repeat it. We may have to go through it again.
That's what worries me. But I think that in every time when we get into foolish stuff and it gets overdone, and I'm not saying there are legitimate gripes here, people, but I think we've had our jump the shark moment with this ESPN guy. Now, I don't know who recommended what. He was very amenable to just say, all right, I won't cover this game, I'll cover another game. No one's fired him and all that.
But that affects his professionalism, his career.
Right.
I mean, that's not right.
So I'm wondering, when I call it a jump the shark moment, I mean it like, this is getting goofy. So something or someone got to ESPN, or maybe they thought ahead of time, hey, look, we have a guy covering this, you know, Robert Lee, that's not going to look good. But it's getting goofy. People are so afraid to do even anything in this environment that they would do something as ridiculous as that.
I can't attend this, I can't attend that, I don't want to be controversial.
Right.
Oh, my goodness, it's too much.
So what do you think your dad, your uncle would say in this environment? And did you know, or did your dad or uncle have anything to say about growing up in the Atlanta area in the South, where there were a lot of these statues back then? Did they recoil at them? Did they hate them?
There was never a recoiling, because we have inhumanity to humanity, people being mean and fighting each other, and their answer was always nonviolent, peaceful reconciliation. Get your facts, real facts, not fake news, inform your public, investigate, find out the state of your own heart, negotiate, peacefully protest, and reconcile. That's the 6 steps of nonviolent conflict reconciliation, and that was their principle. You know, they did say, like Jesus said, turn the other cheek, and I remember kind of like, well, Jesus has 2 cheeks, suppose I hit you again. So you have to be a little bit ready to stand firm in these principles, and I did learn that from them. I really did.
Yeah, because my parents used to say, no matter how often you turn your cheek, Neil, we'll still hit the other one.
That's it. How many you have?
I hear you. All right,
yeah.
Alveda, thank you so much. Very good seeing you again.
Thank you.
Alveda King.